Okay. Kirsten, when you were recording, are you doing, like, is every paragraph a different take?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was one time where I carried on and was like, oh, no, sorry, that's a different take. So,
Okay.
and that was
Right.
interesting because most of my takes, I mean, they're all basically the same. I'm just standing there and talking.
Right.
But some of them I really wanted to keep. I got to the, and it was like cut, and I was like, I really want to start again in this place. And so,
Yes. Yeah.
because I thought this is going to, now, it may not flow on because Ben might be inserting beautiful images or.
Do you guys want to trade so that I can do this?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Here, you want to come sit here and I'll move the sandwich?
Sure.
I'll move out of the way altogether.
A bit of lettuce from somebody's sandwich. Yeah, so it was very interesting because, pardon my butt, I just realised I was doing a real bend down in front of the camera there. Yeah, it was very interesting because it was subdivided more than I thought it would be.
Right.
This is the script that we'd written for our various bits in the documentary, and presumably that's because Ben has made choices about, I'm going to change a graphic here, or I'm going
Right.
to insert a bit there. So there was that choice of whether do I reset and do the next bit as a sort of different, or do I try and keep the body language going, or the intention going,
Yeah.
or the inflection going.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about most, because, I mean, you remember when I was reading through yesterday, like, in my longer bits, like, I get rolling.
Well, that's the
You
thing.
get momentum building.
Yeah, and I mostly did just keep that. And mostly if I was in a place, but I tried to make it so that it wasn't so like, and so,
Yeah.
that if he did want to separate it in some way,
Right.
there was one, right, the very first one I did, I was like, the War of the Rohirrim is not just and Ben's like, okay, I think that was a bit high-pitched. It's like, it's not the beginning, it's because you've spoken
Right.
already, Maggie's
Right.
spoken already, and I was like, oh, okay. I was doing my, cinema advertising, the War of the Rohirrim.
That's it. Right.
And so then at the next one I was like, War of the Rohirrim, and then he's like, okay, I feel like I killed your energy now.
Yeah, it is just a different thing. I mean, what I'm used to is, again, them just kind of pointing the camera at me, and I just
And you just
go.
talk. Yeah.
They just like wind me up and let me
Well,
me
and you
go.
kind of can do that in that when you cut, you can just hold it and then carry on. But there was one where I was like, okay, I'm just going to hold it. And then they were like, oh, I need to put new batteries in this now. And I'm like, I don't know how long I can hold this. So, but for the most part, it was cut. All right, move to the next one. All right, rolling. And so you can pretty much keep your flow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always that, for me, it's always that difference between how much should I do? Like, you don't want to get too theatrical, but I am quite theatrical.
Right.
And
right.
so, on the one where I had, good luck to her, say I.
That's
And then
right.
I was like, could I be
in the
any
Shield
more
Maintenance Park.
British
Yes.
in my scripting of this?
Right.
So yeah, but I'm like, fine, whatever, suck it up. I am British. It's going
Right.
to be British.
Right. Give the people what they want,
And I'd said to them at the beginning, I'm not trusting any of you in a room full of men to let me know if my hair has got out of place.
Right.
So then they were like, well, we can if you want us to. And thereafter, they kept being like, oh, just a minute. Fine. So there was quite a lot of like, okay, all right. And they were like, there's just one stray one. I was like, let's just pull it out, So it was a little bit, that's why I'm wearing the hat, because it is the best way to contain the hair.
Right.
Otherwise, the hair would have needed
Well,
more.
I was going to say, I would argue the second best in my method, which is
Shave it
simply
off.
freshly to shave it off,
Yep.
like, contains it quite handily.
Well, I do have a wig that looks very similar to my actual hair, so that's the third option. It's like, I'll just put the wig on today.
Right.
So, yeah, but it was good. It didn't take us that long. We had a couple of false starts, some issue with the...
You guys
it
move
wasn't
to the
recording
studio,
or-
just take the laptop with you.
Okay. Is Ben going to come for me, or?
He's
Okay.
coming for you.
By the time I'm done up here, I'll vote.
Okay.
Is
I
this
don't know if
trash? I'm
he's
gonna
waiting
chuck
for me.
that
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
fine.
He's coming for you, Corey.
Exactly. He's coming for me.
We did not film the opening, the intro that we may not use.
With the introduction of
because I think we're all
ourselves.
going to do that together,
Okay.
I think.
Oh, really?
I think that was the idea.
I see. I see.
So I think the idea is that we'll all be together for that opening shot, which I think would be nice. Actually,
It would be nice.
I think it would make sense to have
The three of us sitting on the stools of torment.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And I had a very nice backdrop. I was interior. Oh, is there someone waiting to be
Yeah, I was
admitted?
just noticing that too.
I admit.
It is sort of like, like a confession.
Yeah, exactly. What shall I admit? I admit. Yeah, I had the interior of Metacell as my backdrop, and so I had the two banners that I brought along as real backdrop as well as the beautiful projected backdrop. So that was kind of fun. So when I was talking about the sigil of the Shield Maidens, I was like, Handmaidens is something else.
Handmaidens is in fact something else.
Entirely different.
Yes, a wholly different category of maiden. It is really, it's my favorite thing when they have the digital wall and the real props in front of the digital wall. There are some of the ones that we did for Rings of Power this past year. My favorite one was you remember the little Temple of the Faithful down by the water? When we had that backdrop up, and they had like little tables with candles and things in the background and everything, and you absolutely could not tell where it ended and where it began. And they did a similar thing with when the setting in the little canyon of the stores as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had pots and like vegetables and things set up in the foreground or set up in the on the stage and then in the background it was, and again you couldn't tell.
Yeah, it really does make a big difference having that extra dimensionality in front of it.
Yeah.
So, and it was fun just getting those two banners in there, and yeah. I still need to see my chicken poem from.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm waiting for the epic.
Agreed.
It's going to be a massive letdown now. After
Somebody
all
else here
this.
too.
Oh, after all the waiting, it's going to just be like wah. But ode to a chicken.
That's it.
Oh, do people have questions? Could a handmaiden in the royal family of Rohan be a shield maiden? Oh, I don't know. There are very
It'd be a shield handmaiden.
a hand shield.
A hand shield maiden?
Oh, I see. Someone says, "Ode to my shoes." Look, I don't know if you can see the whole extent of the shoes, but on the back here, there is actually purple leopard print. Here, let me just put that towards the camera. There's purple leopard print. And then there's pink sequins on the side. And then look, stripy socks as well. I mean, come on.
That's right. You really do the all black.
Yep.
And yet,
Yep.
the accessories are where it is.
Exactly.
Right?
For a long time, I think it might still be, but my Twitter status was just dark clothing but colourful socks was what I said as my bio for Twitter, So yes, or black with pink accessories. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I do like a bit of crazy pop. But the secret with shoes, kids, is if you can fit children's sizes, because these are kids' shoes. So to my joy, about 5 years ago, I discovered that I could fit some of the kids' shoes in America.
Okay.
So you go to the children's department and you find the coolest, sparkliest, most fun and cheaper because they're not taxed as much.
Right here.
So
We're gonna
it's
go
great.
set up, so if you want to carry through there at any point and have them see
Okay.
the setup, feel free. But there's
Great.
no rush, because it'll take them a minute.
Ooh, also,
Yeah.
what shirt should I wear? Do you have a color preference?
You're doing black.
Black.
Do we want to stick with
I have
black?
black, I have
and
blue, I
I
have
had
red,
this on. So I was
I
doing
do not
black
have a
with the
scarf.
scarf.
nor sparkly shoes.
She's got an extra pink one. Do you want that? Should we all do black?
Black with the OSHA scarf, you see.
I can do black.
I'm
Basically the
not-
black shirt I wore yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not bothered,
it's
to be
similar.
honest, so
Okay.
you have black, blue, and red.
Black,
Black,
like your
blue,
soul.
red, and something else. I can't remember.
I do like your red shirt.
my red shirt.
What's your
Nice.
background?
My background?
Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, like, what? No, how did you train?
Well,
Tell me, was it Juilliard?
No, I mean, what's going to be behind you on the screen?
Metaseld, I
I
think.
think so.
Exterior, though, I think. Or...
Yeah, your interior, exterior, I think.
Okay.
I think
So,
from a cinema.
so what they're
I haven't seen
exposing
it
me
yet.
on the hillside.
Yes, you're getting,
Right.
we're going to get fans.
I was going to say, gonna have the wind blowing,
Occasional chucks and water.
blowing my hair back.
It's
yeah.
raining.
Does anybody have a helmet with a mane on it that we can just have in yeah, I think whichever one you want. Maybe not blue, just because black and blue together.
Right.
Try the
I think
red.
it goes, I'm putting that out there.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I've
black
been
and blue is
taught.
good.
Try
It's one of the lessons I've learned from my wife.
I would
They'll
take red
say
and
blue
black.
and green must never be seen.
I don't
That's
blue
what
and
the
green.
poem says. I know, but I'm just telling. I don't.
I would take black and red
red.
back there and have benches.
Okay.
Yes,
I will.
but red might.
We're
be
setting
cool.
up for the raffle, which is why I'm running away. So if you guys are sticking around for the
Ooh.
raffle, 3:30, put your entry in before 3 p.m. and send me the screenshot, and we'll put your name on there too.
Prizes, prizes, prizes.
All right.
What were we talking about before that? I mean, apart from kids' shoes, which is not an important topic of conversation.
Well,
I don't know.
not a critical one. Though I think that was in fact what we were talking about. But
Perhaps it was.
yeah. And I was going to ask if that means you could get access to shoes that light up when you walk.
Yes,
Right.
it does. Although you can actually get adult-sized shoes that light up when you walk.
Right.
There was a company that made them for the British Olympic team for the closing ceremony. I think it was 2016, that they all came out and they had these shoes that flashed red, white, and blue. And so they were producing them in adult
I see.
sizes.
Yeah.
But yes, what I have not yet found in my size is a pair of shoes with the little wheels in the heel so that I can wheel around
Yes.
places.
Yes. Heelys. I think.
Yes,
Yes.
Heelys, there
Yes.
you go. I think
Exactly.
that would be very fun, but I have not yet managed to find those in my size. But yes, I do not fit children's sizes in anything else, alas. Actually, T-shirts occasionally. When I was in New Zealand, let me just name drop here, and we went to the museum, and actually with my good friend Paul, who's sitting just behind the camera here, and I wanted to buy a souvenir T-shirt, and the only one I liked was the kids' one that was a blue one with the Tree of Gondor on it, and so I just bought the kids' one.
There you go.
So
I do not fit children's sizes.
I can imagine
Yeah. I do not.
neither feet
No.
nor shirts.
No, indeed. No part of me fits into children's clothes. Yeah, okay, so I guess, we'll move to the studio.
Yeah, have
The
you done
lighting
your
is
vocal
not going to be
warm-ups? Are
amazing.
you ready?
I think I'm okay.
Yeah. What do you
Okay.
do? What do you do for your vocal warm-ups?
I don't actually have an intense vocal warm-up scheme.
The tip of the teeth, the lips, the tongue, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth.
No, I don't.
She sells seashells on the seashore. None of these.
None of them. None of
Red
them.
lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. Actors do. It's not a joke.
Yes.
Actors actually do all those kind of things backstage. It's one of my favourite bits in Moulin Rouge in the film when Ewan McGregor's going. So yeah.
I've never found anything like that helpful. Like, if anything,
Fair
it just
enough.
kind of psychs me out.
Oh really?
Yeah, especially tongue twister
Fair.
type things. Like I would find the red lorry, yellow lorry, just like utterly demoralizing.
Soul
actually.
destroying.
Yes, because L's, I at times struggle with liquid consonants.
La 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 la.
R's and L's in particular.
Someone else to be admitted.
I can do that. Can I
Okay.
ask you to go up to the raffle stuff and see
I
which
will.
stuff you're keeping and which stuff you're giving?
Oh, everything that I put on the shelf is, but I will go.
But there's a backpack of stuff.
Yes, no, I put everything on the shelf that is for the raffle. Everything else is not, but.
It may have been mixed up, so go give a check. Hi, guys. Here, I'll turn it around so you can see studio. I'll walk slowly so you can take it all in. Although you've probably seen this before, if you have been part of our posse. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
All right, gang. It's not a bad place to put you, but then you won't be able to see faces. And I think you'd have a lot more fun if you could see faces. Bear with me.
That's hitting the horizon. That's lower than, that's not sea level sunset, so your lighting will change a lot.
The external standing in the drain.
Oh yeah, welcome to Rohan.
You're going to Chickamauga.
Adam, mute yourself.
You said 2 o'clock?
I feel like I should look at that and make sure nobody can unmute themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, don't unmute yourself.
Here. There you go. Okay,
But now they've just,
so,
no, that didn't work.
red or black? This is the decision. Or gray? Probably not gray.
What about green? Did you bring
I
green?
didn't bring the gray.
I think black. That's what Jake's wearing.
Black.
That looks pretty good.
Black it is. Be right back.
Very cool. All right, I think I've unmuted everybody. Jennifer Morris says red. She's the only one that's weighed in, though. Black or red? Do you have a preference?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a background.
All right.
So you gotta have hard to tell.
Okay, I shan't change that yet then.
Oh, I know, Bernardo. Talk about the things that I haven't organized this week. It's the mute settings on a Zoom. But thank you. There's a list long of things I need to be better at.
Oh, jeez.
Hi, buddy.
Just so we can both be on here.
Any questions while we're hanging out? Keep them coming.
Hey, Bernardo, good to see you.
He was giving me tips about muting. I was like, I know, I just didn't organize it. It's going really well so far. We just started shooting today, but the whole week has been planning and writing and organizing.
Yeah, lots of script work yesterday, which was a delight to our director.
We got a thumbs up, maybe an eye roll too. But it's very different from what we've done before, so it is quite the different process. And we're shooting it differently too. So like, we're shooting it, you'll see, but we're shooting it in each of us on our own, doing all of our bits at once in these tiny little segments.
Yeah, and that's what Kirsten and I were just talking about. She was talking about the segmentation of the takes.
And Laura, how much leeway do you get to change script mid-shooting? With Rings of Power, all the time. Like, we were still writing while we were standing in front of it.
Yes.
So that was understood that was going to happen. Because this is different, the script is finished first. And in theory, it should be finished weeks ago, and we've read through it, and we're perfectly ready for it, so we can just come in, shoot, and it's done. We're still tweaking a few words, but... So we can change a little bit. If, like, we figure out the syntax is different, we can just ask for another cut. But in general, we're pretty much set in at this point.
Yeah, so the reason, as I understand, for the segmentation is that it does make it easier to edit, and also because they're editing more things in. Like, again, in Rings of Power, it was just, like, on screen was us talking for a long time, and they would do overlays on top of it so that, you know, they would overlay the scene from the show that we were talking about so that you could see what we were discussing and stuff. But still, it was a continuous take of us talking, just with the overlays. Here, they're going to be different shots and different angles. It's going to act like there will be times when what we're saying is going to be actually interspersed with a different video instead of just an overlay. So that is all made easier if they don't have a a continuous stream of my talking like this without interruption that
There's
they then have
nowhere
to try
cut
to cut.
that.
Yes,
There's nowhere to cut
exactly.
in that.
So yeah, it's giving them options for that. So
I love it when they change. We'll see if they change it, but they're testing out different backgrounds. So when they change the wall, it's a little bit of magic. Watch, it won't happen now.
yeah,
We'll keep talking, but
but
you
the
guys
dark
can just watch.
background is very evocative. Yeah. Let's see. And John was saying something.
Oh.
Hey, John, good to see you. There we
There you
go.
go. There's Edoras.
Oh, this is the anime background.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good to see you, John.
Yes. Oh, we're installing signs. Come on, battery and data. Where do we get these backgrounds? For this one, we actually got, what's it called when you're like grandfathered in? We were admitted into the media group for Warner Brothers. So this is from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So we have Media Pass and then therefore can download a bunch of the like high res stuff and behind the scenes interviews and things like that. So we have some pretty swish content that we can play with, which is fun.
Yeah, so there's a few different like possibilities for how they can do things. We can take, so like obviously, ideally, if you have a fully like rendered 3D digital environment, we can put that up there. That's what the library is that we shoot on Rings and Realms. It's a full 3D, so that like you can move the camera, right? You can go to different parts of the room, right, and
And
look at
it
different
moves
angles.
as you move. And
Yeah, and you can change what's out the window. You program in the shadow. Sorry, that was me. You program in the shadows and the lights and everything else. Anyway, so like that's like the top of the line option, right? But usually we can't get fully 3D rendered assets for the backgrounds that we want for these kinds of productions. So the next best thing is just to make them for themselves.
Yeah.
And that was what we mostly did for the Rings of Power, for instance, where we take a high-res image, because almost any high-res image will do, as long as the resolution's high enough, and then they'll use the magic
their technical magicery.
computer software.
I'm like, I can walk you over there and you'll see a really fancy computer, but it's just a really fancy computer.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll split the image into like a foreground, a midground, and a background, and then they'll put those at different layers so that when the camera moves, you can see depth of movement in the screen.
You can see it a little bit here. I'll try to hold still for a little bit. So they're adjusting, see how they're zooming in, zooming out, they're lifting up, they're lifting down, and the actual background will adjust in focus depending on how they're putting it up on the screen.
Yeah, because if it's just a flat image, then you're not going to get that sense of depth. But
Yeah.
with the depth that they can add, and they don't call it a 3D image. They call it a 2.5D image because it's kind of a 2D image, but they've made it into sort of, they've added a third dimension to it, but it's not a genuinely 3D image.
Yeah, I like this double layer. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can we request a background for Corey to do his best 5-minute Dragon Ball scream? We didn't think of that add-on. Do you guys want me to walk around the equipment for a second? You want to get a little closer? I can do that for a sec.
All right.
Oh, here's Blake, our tech guru.
Hey.
Hi. So I'm like, Blake, are you busy?
No.
Do you want to tell them for like 30 seconds what you do and what this thing is?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll try, but I will mess it up.
So the wall that we have over here is run through a program called Disguise, which is both a software and servers that output in like just a display signal to the big LED wall. So in here we have basically a 3D representation of the curved wall.
Thank you.
And then there are a bunch of layers that we can create to put different backgrounds on the wall, and also have like monitors in here. So we have this layer is just like the background image. Then we have a few layers here which are like just so that we can see camera feeds on the wall from both our A and B cam. Same thing up here. And then this final 2.5D exterior layer is being like mapped and warped onto the wall based on the camera's perspective, so that all straight lines stay straight and everything, and it kind of compensates for the curvature of the wall to make the images look how they should. Yeah.
And this is why Blake tells you what this is. That was awesome. It's beautiful too.
Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's go over and see the wall. We have many command centers.
To the right. Yeah. Do we see off the? Yeah, let me just see. Right on close side.
One. This is what we're reading off of, so you can see our teleprompter. That's also why it's difficult to make any changes mid-shoot, because the document is uploaded onto that. So any changes we need to make, we should have done before we're up there.
That's right. And occasionally we would wing stuff for Rings and Realms, but for the Rings of Power, but less so with this one.
Nice. Let's just catch him in the comments. It's how they faked the moon landings.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly.
Do you want to take him for a moment?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to check on raffle. They've got another 30 minutes.
Cool. Another 30 minutes for the raffle. Okay. So yeah, the one of the trickiest things, or I should say, one of the touchiest elements of the setup is the lighting, because the lighting is really critical. Because if you have a person standing in front of the background, but if the lighting doesn't match the background, then it looks really cheesy. It's super obvious that you're just standing in front of a screen. But if you get the lighting just right, so that it looks like the sun is shining on you in the same angle and in the same color and degree that it is in the background, then it looks like you're there. So they spend a lot of time. It's one of the things that takes the most time when setting up. You'd think, well, it's like, whoa, you got the background programmed into the computer, right? So we just hit the button that says go to there, and there you are, it's up, ready to go. Except now you've got to reset all the lighting. So that can take a long time because it's all mechanical. And there are all these, I've learned a lot. Well, I mean, not learned like I can do it myself, but I've watched them do it a lot. So you see the large sheet. So there's the light that they're shining through that white sheet. You've got all the shading, of course, up at the top there. That's the black that you see up at the top is like a black drape that comes down and sort of boxes in the area. And that's to keep the lighting that's shining on the performance area from reflecting up onto the digital wall and dimming that, right? So you want to keep the light from getting up there. But you can also see this is why there's always somebody standing there, like we can see on our monitors. We see Greg very patiently standing in the middle of the thing. There's always a person there, because you've got to see okay, so there's no way to measure the progress of the light until you've got if you don't have somebody standing there. So they have what happened to Chad, by the way?
I think his head broke.
His head broke?
Yeah, we need to get that for replacement.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chad's been degenerating over the yeah. So Chad is the name of the mannequin that they've had, and that's one of Chad's jobs. They would set Chad up and have him be there to be the one who was having the light shown on him. But Chad has seen better days. So the lights are all set up manually, because it's not just there's so many elements. There's the color of the light, the angle of the light, the intensity of the light, and there are some really, really fine adjustments that they will make in order to make that all work out. Alan, we're only right now, I think we're using one primary, it looks like we've got two cameras set up. So, the two cameras we have set up, we have the really cool robot arm there, which moves around. Yeah, so that's there's a camera on the end of that Kira robot arm, and you can see it moving. But then on the tripod right there next to it is another camera. That's the one that the teleprompter was set up on. So that's the one that we're going to be looking into, and then there'll be this other one that will kind of pan around. There we've got images.
Yeah, except for this one, Maggie, the other side of the room.
What, Maggie's hanging out with the anime characters?
For that? I mean, we'll just, like, wrench it up. Yeah. That's tomorrow's project,
I guess that's Maggie's background. Yes, yes, it is true that the background, so generally the background is synced with the, so it's hard to explain because what I often see, and so this is just me describing, not explaining mind how it works because I don't understand, but describing what I see is, especially when you're in a 3D environment, you'll see like a rectangular box, like what the view of the camera is, and the computer will be tracking it, and that will move. So you'll see like a background image, and then you'll see a rectangular image moving on it that is at a different perspective. And it does not look good. But on the camera, like in the recording, it looks amazing, right? That's how they get the whole 3D depth thing in a true 3D image. With this, it should be it is true that the background will move, the perspective will be adjusted based on the position of the camera, and the robot arm it's all programmed in, synced up with the digital wall and stuff in order to make all that move. So I don't know exactly how that interacts with the second camera. If the second camera will need to, like if they can only run the one at a time, or if they'll be syncing back and forth, I'm not really sure. But yeah, exactly. The screen does compensate the perspective projection of the camera. Yeah, exactly. But if you're just using, so like for instance with Maggie's thing, which we were just seeing, which has the different, like all the different images of the characters from the anime, that's just a flat image. So there's not going to be depth to that, and so that will be sort of a little bit easier. Yeah. Okay. So that's the director lying on the floor over there. I don't ask questions about these things. I have no idea. It's important, I'm sure. What's going on over there? Yeah, exactly. Will we see us in anime style? I don't know. That I've been hoping for that, but we'll see. Yeah. Yes, we will see. Oh yeah, they're doing test images on the walls. Right, so they're like illuminating different panels and moving them. This has something to do with
It does line up, but it looks like it's
syncing with the computer and stuff.
Centered on the wall, but not in the room.
you want it centered on the wall.
Yeah, Jason, I think you can still get in for the raffle, but the time is short, I think. All right. think.
Nope, gotta go over to, that is.
Ben, are you being the foreground?
The circles are now lined, so you move it over to, oh,
Making a turf
there
thing.
you go.
You're making a turf angel?
Yep.
Because something happened with it and it would not let me edit its location.
So are you recalibrating?
Rebuilding how this guy is outputting the feed of the wall.
You're rebuilding, so they're rebuilding how they're outputting the wall feed. Okay. Yes, I don't know much about this part. All right. And I apologize for those who are like getting seasick from me just carrying around the laptop and trying to point at places. Oh, look, they're doing the thing that I was describing. Where you can see the moving rectangle on the wall. So like the darker part is sort of moving over top of the rest of the part.
Okay, I can tell you right now it's about central.
Yeah, see, when you can see the lines move there,
Left side is
what's moving is the position of the camera.
down there. I'm seeing on the robot camera.
And so those on the side there, those are monitor images that they're projecting on the side of the wall. Because the wall's like 30 feet curved. And so on the very wings of the wall, we rarely see, unless you're trying to do a very long distance shot. But we very rarely use those. So they often post digital images of monitors, basically, so we can see what the camera's seeing. Different versions of it. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it less technical for people, Not bewilder everybody with my extremely technical vocabulary about all of these things. All right. So yeah. So I'm about ready to record my bits, my primary bits. I have a few different chunks of analysis that I'm doing that I selected out to do. One is, so I'm doing an analysis of Helm, looking at basically the way, with a focus on the fight with Freyka, a focus on the changes that they've made. So looking at the adaptation choices that they're making, like what patterns do we see when we compare and contrast how they treated Helm and Freyka and the fight. And what is the pattern there? What's the pattern of choices there? So that's one of the bits that I'm doing. Spoilers, yeah, exactly. I'm also talking about, I wanted to highlight one of the things I found one of their adaptation choices to be most striking, most daring, actually. The single biggest, most impactful choice, I thought, deviation from the text, I should say, like when they chose to make a change. They burned down Medicel. That was a kind of a big deal. I was shocked when I saw the film for the first time. I was like, they just burned down Medicel. Holy cow. So yeah, it's a big deal. A major deviation from the text. So I do a little bit of analysis with Maggie about like why did they burn down Medicel? And my argument, I think, is actually a really interesting example of a change, like an actual change from the story that is made with the effect of conveying what Tolkien conveys. He didn't convey it that way, right? But he also didn't need to. Again, the tools are different in film and in, in text. Anyway, so that's another one that I do. My biggest, like my longest, most sustained, though I think in filming it, it will be broken up, but my longest sustained piece of analysis is an analysis of the madness of Helm and how they handled that, because I think that that's really fascinatingly done. So, yeah. Well, Alitario Medicel's easy to rebuild. I agree. Like, you could say nothing's lost. It's just what's lost is the sense that the sense of history, that the hall that you're standing in stretches back not to Eorl the Young, but to his son, right, to the beginning of Rohan, essentially. Mediceld is sort of like, it's almost identified with the kings, like not just since Freyalaf, right, but from the establishment of the Mark. And yeah, no, like again, there's nothing strange, certainly nothing unusual, Stephen, historically, about rebuilding halls or castles or things. It's just that in the book it's not the case, right? And the sense that Tolkien gives of it, the way that it's used as a symbol of the history of the Mark, and its connection all the way back to Eorl the Young. And again, he's not the builder of the hall, but his son was the builder of the hall, right? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But you see that that choice is a really powerful one. It's exactly because of the associations that Meduseld has that they were able to kind of take advantage of it. Like it's the effect that the burning had is largely stems from those associations that we have. So anyway, yeah, no, it's again, there's nothing implausible about it. It's just a deviation, a significant deviation from the text, which is interesting. So, like, what do they gain? Again, my questions are always, what do they gain? What's the cost? There is a cost.
Squish over.
Oop. Here we go. Here comes Maggie again.
Hi, gang.
All right. So yeah, we got to see them like recalibrate
Glorious.
and we got a preview of your background with characters.
Oh, I haven't seen mine yet.
Yeah, well, you missed it.
Seen mine yet. It's exciting. This is why that we have a lot of downtime with Rings of Power and why we're here till 4 a.m.
Oh wait, hang on a second. Actually, we were talking about this. So they're showing if we can set it up so you can see both screens. The screen with the fainter color is the robot, and the screen on the left-hand side of your screen is the like it's both cameras basically. So you can see like we can actually run them both at once, and we've got the one with the shifting perspective, and the other one is flat and straight. But they are both running at the same time, actually.
That's pretty cool. And that's our friend Jake. Say hi to the people at home, Jake.
Yeah, yeah, so the one on the right is in motion, as you can see, and the one on the left is the static cam with the teleprompter. Ooh,
Aye.
I'm not gonna wear my red with that. Okay,
Can I steal this for a moment of
course.
admin?
of course.
Guys, I'm sorry, you can keep talking to Corey if you want, but I'm going to send out a video we just took of all of the raffle prizes. So if anybody still wants to enter, you've got like 20 minutes, you can still enter.
You're putting it on Discord?
I put it on Discord,
Okay.
but I'm also going to email it out to all the raffle people.
Great.
As long as I'm not sharing my screen right now, we're good. And I know we said this would just be an hour, but guys, we'll probably just do this until the raffle. So if you stick around a little bit, it's not like we're going to give you a hard cutoff at 3.
So we're shooting in 24 frames per second? We're not doing like 60 frames per second or
No.
something? No?
Not today.
We're not gonna shoot it in 3D?
Can you imagine? Corey, in your face.
That's the next
It's the next
tier
step, yeah,
level
there you go.
up, yeah.
That's next tier.
You get the 3D experience.
Oh, this is really hard to do. Sorry, you're just gonna have to deal with my multiple chins. Suck it up. All right. So we have, I think we said 18 prizes.
Wow.
And so not everybody, but a lot of people are going to get prizes.
Well, this is indeed a very favorable.
The odds are in your favor.
Ra-
The odds are very
raffle.
much in your favor. Oh. Resume syncing. Oh, we'll come back to this because it's not there yet.
So the thing that is for me,
Bernardo, yes, you can buy more than one ticket.
yes, the thing that is for me most different, the thing that is most unique about this experience for me compared to the Rings of Power experience in Rings and Realms, is that I'm not writing script right now.
Yeah, we're actually just hanging out.
Yeah, normally I would be in my laptop in my little solitary confinement room with my noise-canceling headphones, desperately writing until the moment I came out on stage.
Or we'd be standing where Jake is
Right.
with our phones in our hands, editing the
Right,
document.
yeah, exactly. Continuing to write with my thumbs while I wait for them to do the lighting. Yes, exactly. So the idea that I'm waiting to be on stage and my script is already written is remarkable.
Honestly is. All right, let's see if it has shown up now. We're still on camera. I'm just going to futz around a little bit and see
Yeah.
if I can get this video to go. Oh, it's just not there yet. It's too big. Fortress of Solitude or a Cone of Silence? Your writing room.
No. It's not exact. It's Well, really neither. And where I was writing, it's usually either in the dressing room or the green room, whichever had fewer people in it at the time.
Yeah, if you
And,
couldn't find him, there were like one of 4 places he
yeah,
would be.
I'd be just sort of hiding, and I'd put some instrumental music on my noise-canceling headphones, and I would be sitting there writing script for the day.
Until all of us were twiddling our thumbs, being like, how many more minutes do you need to finish that section on
Exactly.
Rune?
That was the worst part.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it was bad enough just having to be consistently writing the whole time. But when it came to the point where nothing else needed to be done except the thing I was still in the middle of writing, that was that was a lot of pressure.
Sorry, it's what you signed up for.
Exactly.
It is tough though, because you want to this stuff lasts forever. People want to pick holes in it, right? Like it's the hobby of some people. So
Right.
you want it to be really good, but sometimes you're seriously under the cosh because it's 2 a.m. and people haven't slept in 6 weeks because the Rings of Power schedule was brutal. And
Yes. Yes.
is it preferable to write script for filming or write text for the book?
Oh my goodness. So honestly, it's not terribly different modes actually. The primary difference is sort of stylistic. And I notice this a lot, by the way, when I narrate the audiobook version of my book, is that I tend to write unnecessarily long sentences and ornately long paralleled clauses and things like that, which just don't flow very well when you do them aloud. They work in your head and they work on the page, but they are hard to read. They don't sound conversational. So the primary focus is just I gotta keep my sentences shorter, right? I need to move through. But honestly,
talking.
I always try to keep my writing style, my book writing style, fairly conversational as well. I mean, I'm always kind of thinking about my audience, addressing the audience. So it's not hugely different, but
And if you read his scripts for Rings of Power, it's not like they are film scripts. They're not scant sentences. They are full text. So
oh yeah,
we keep joking. I shouldn't even say joking. We keep saying we will actually publish those things because they are like legit books that we wrote that fast.
It's almost 100,000 words I
Yeah.
wrote for the Rings of Power season 2 in 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Absolutely insane.
Yes, yeah. So Aletario, you're right when it comes to a narrative script, absolutely, that there's more components. Less so with Rings and Realm stuff, where it was just me standing in front of the thing. There it was really the mode was more like lecture, in the sense of me talking. I was addressing it like I was addressing a classroom, essentially. Though actually, one thing that was that kept happening, because of course I was being mic'd. So in season 2 we didn't use, in season 1 we used wired mics, we were wired up, and I had the wires all under my clothes and everything, and we just used boom mics in season 2. But one of the things that kept happening is that, because this room is very large, right? And so I'm standing up there and I'm getting ready to do this talk, right, in this huge room. And so without thinking about it, I immediately start trying to project. So I'm standing there, and Ben would be like, don't need to talk that loud, actually, just talk to a person, so.
We get that a lot.
The thing that I kept, my mantra that I kept saying to myself before I would start, I'm like, conversation, not classroom. Conversation, not I'm just talking to somebody who's standing right there. I'm not trying to project and fill the, reach the back of the room.
I'm just so you guys know, I'm getting your confirmations for the raffles. I'm not
Yeah.
like playing Wordle on my phone.
Yeah, no, Maggie's trying to make all this stuff work.
I'm trying to multitask and I'm really good at it.
Anyway, yeah, so yeah, I kept making the mic peak, and they kept having to rein me in as far as which was good anyway, because I would often be spending hours total talking about this, so kind of good for my voice to not be attempting to project the whole time. But anyway, yeah, so, but yet, Eleuterio, as what you were saying before, the real difference in a lot of ways, it's interesting because there's I'm thinking about the difference between reading script on Rings and Realms and like teaching in a classroom or reading an audiobook or like kind of like the other stuff that I do. It's really more like reading. It's quite similar to reading, like if you're reading a paper at a conference or something, like so you've got something fully scripted, and you're reading it and you don't want it to be boring, you don't want it to just sound like you're reading, right? So, and of course I've written it in such a way that I'm thinking about how I'm going to be saying it, so I'm trying to make it fluid and to work. But it's really a continuous sort of lecture thing. So yeah, the script really was the whole time in that way. Yeah.
I've gotten your tickets, so thank you guys. There's still like 10 minutes if you want to purchase another one. I've been trying to upload the video to show you what's there, but just know there's some really cool stuff.
And you said it was in the Discord.
I stuck it in the Discord. Yeah, you guys can see it in the Discord.
I can hear Discord
I
happening.
can hear Discord happening. Here, take that for a moment.
Okay, I will. I will.
Bernardo's like, you guys need to stand. I'm like, nah, our knees are good.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have a laptop stand here. We can put you on the footstool here, but that's going to be a weird angle.
There's a whiskey barrel over there.
That's true. There is a whiskey barrel over there. I could put you on the Jack Daniels barrel, but then we'd have to stand around it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it does look like there could be a dwarf in there. Yeah, so it's the kind of
It doesn't have a top.
it's the kind of prop they go in for here. See, I'll show you. Here's the Jack Daniels barrel, and it is open. You could get a dwarf in there, I suppose. They use these. These are like their trash cans here at the studio. So yes, we couldn't actually put you on top of the barrel because there's no top.
All right, I might have to take that back from you in about 5 minutes, if that's all right.
5
So,
minutes.
Final questions, guys, for 5 minutes.
No worries.
And we're going to do this again tomorrow. I think 11 a.m., but that's early for you. I can change the time if you want to do later.
It's fine. I mean, if I need to be here at 11, I can be here at 11.
You don't need to be. I guess it depends how far you get today.
It does.
Yeah, depends if
It
you
does.
can finish your stuff.
Yeah, let's
plan for
maybe
11.
we be flexible about that.
And we also don't have to have a hard finish because I'm filming tomorrow, so we could do like 2 hours. We could do like 11 to 1, and then if you drift in at 12, that's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Looks like home. Oh, that's nice.
Right, it's the whiskey
Oh, the
barrel.
whiskey barrel.
Yes.
I thought you meant the sunset in the mountains, because that's pretty reminiscent of the Shenandoah, isn't it?
Yeah. It's all right. We don't have anybody standing in front of them, but we've got here the backgrounds. Looks like this is what we're going to go with for my
It's really pretty.
shot. It is pretty. Again, you can see the camera still doing its circuit.
And they've been talking about, I don't know if you talked about the animation to reality stuff.
No, we haven't.
They were talking about doing some slightly different techniques on this one, because obviously it's an anime, it's something totally different for us to look at and to play with, and these guys love to play. So being able to put us there in a real background, they're going to try to then morph us into an animated state. I don't know if we are or if it's just the background, but it kind of sounded like they wanted to play if they could make us animated.
It'd be awesome.
It'd be really cool. I want to see me as an anime character.
Yes. Yes. I
yeah.
think that'd be a new level of street cred with my kids.
Ooh,
If I could be an anime character.
that sounds like a pretty
Yeah.
good incentive.
Yeah.
Was anyone else mildly disappointed the forest monster was a watcher in the water rather than a boar of Everholt?
Yes, the boar of Everholt would have been cool. Would have been super cool. Or maybe like, just like a little baby boar. A little baby
baby
boar
boar.
of Everholt. A giant baby boar. Later on it's going to grow up and become a nuisance.
I was thinking about that question about presenting and writing for film and writing for books and stuff. Obviously, I don't write books, so I don't know. But just being part of this process and like watching how we speak to camera and the intonation that you give, I feel like is half of the presentation. And it's the same as when you're teaching. Like you can put all this feeling and critique into your voice and questioning tones and a little bit of humor, and it just comes across in such a unique way that's very different from writing a book. So yeah, I enjoy that part of it. When you hear the Corey snark, it's pretty great.
Well, and there's certainly things that you can do, and that because you can rely upon facial expressions and gestures and tone of voice in ways that you just can't in a book. So there are things that I could get away with saying that I couldn't have said that way.
Yeah.
It would have required more explanation or whatever.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because we need to get the last few names into the raffle and then send the link out for that and post this recording to Discord. So we'll see you at about 3:30 if you want to jump into the raffle. That's going to be me and Kirsten because this guy's going to be busy. And then tomorrow we'll open up the Zoom Fly on the Wall at probably around 11, and I think I'll just leave it open for a bit. So
Okay.
Okay.
And
Thanks,
I'll probably
guys.
pop in the middle of that.
Sounds about right. Awesome. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.